Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Thornton Farm. This is episode number 18, and this is a brand new game day. It is game 3 of early autumn, and as indicated from the last video, we're going to basically get started today cultivating the two canola fields. We've basically spent a lot of time last night getting slurry applied to those fields, and so this morning we are going to basically cultivate those and get those ready for oilseed radish, because that is basically how we do things around here. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Hope your holiday week and everything is still running quite smoothly. Let me just look at my schedule. Looks like by the time you guys are going to be seeing this, it'll be around the second week, or the start of the second week of January. So hopefully you got all your holiday stuff done, and you have found yourselves successfully completed the first week back to work. And of course I'm talking about the short week back to work, and of course then the weekend that we possibly felt like it just wouldn't get here, and that is of course the weekend of the 6th and 7th. You know, for me, anytime I come back from a sort of a long break at work and I come back into the office, whether it is 3 days or whether it is 4 days, or even if it's a full work week, 5 days, that first week back is just absolutely grueling, and just almost salivating for the weekend to hurry up and get here so that I can sort of rest and recuperate just a little bit. Oftentimes, especially for me, what I find is that anytime I'm off, where my sleep schedule gets somewhat changed, and let's face it, being on vacation, not worrying about the alarm clock, not setting an alarm clock, not caring about what time it is, not even really halfway even knowing what day of the week it is most of the time when I'm on vacation, because again, that's kind of how I judge having a good vacation, is if I can completely lose myself basically in vacation mode, then I consider that to be quite successful, in the sense that, and I'm recording this episode, it's still 2017, folks, when I'm recording this episode, but I hardly even know at this particular point in time what day of the week it is. It's still 2017. I haven't got to New Year's yet, or even New Year's Eve yet, but I am completely in vacation mode, or I should say home vacation mode, which is, to be quite honest with you, that is my wife, one of my wife and I, that's sort of our favorite vacation mode. We do enjoy going and seeing places and seeing things and discovering new stuff and everything, but we also enjoy just being at home on vacation and doing things either around the house, or maybe not even doing anything really at all, but riding the sofa and catching up on some of our favorite TV programs, or watching movies that we sort of reserve for this time of year for the holidays. And it's just an incredible relaxing time for us. I'm not checking work email, not really even caring about work. Speaking of work, for me, work a couple of years ago, I think this is the third year now that we have had this mandatory shutdown for the last week of the year. It's called winter break, is what we call it. And so essentially the week between Christmas and New Year, obviously Christmas Day and New Year's Day is always a company holiday for us, and so with both Christmas Day and New Year's Day falling on Monday, the 2017-2018 year, winter break was in between. That was Tuesday through Friday, and then of course we're all going back to work on the 2nd of January. Well, they started this winter break, mandatory winter break thing, where we basically all non-essential employees. And even though I work in the IT department, my roles and everything within the company are all IT technology related. Basically, my organization, or my organization within the IT organization, basically we stream down to just skeleton type staff, and so basically I get to be off because I've got other people that do a lot of that work and everything for me, or we just, we're either on call or whatever the case might be. So with that said, my wife is also on call because you might remember, you might know, I think I've said this before, that my wife and I both work for the same company. We met each other while I was on a business trip to London back in 2001. Became really good friends, and then she had an opportunity to relocate to Denver in 2002, and that's kind of the rest of the story. But anyway, this is the third year that we've had this winter break concept, and the first year we found out that we were going to have to take this as vacation. Um, we found out about it in probably about late August or September of that first year, and quite honestly, it was quite a surprise for many folks because even the way that we manage our vacation schedules, because my wife's family obviously is in Belgium, and every other year we travel to Belgium to visit her family for about 9 days or so, and then we usually spend 4 or 5 days vacationing in the English countryside. It was kind of a surprise because we had to sort of you know rearrange what we normally carry over and all that kind of stuff of vacation time so that we could really make that happen, accommodate that to happen. And so now that this is like, and I think that first year also, I was sick as a dog during winter break, and that was kind of upsetting as well because um, I think I started getting sick on maybe the day or two after Christmas, and of course when I get sick, when I get the man flu, it's a lot like Smithy. I am just down for the count. I am just like 1, 2, 3, and I am out. Um, it really affects me. I don't know. I don't know what I struggle with more. And honestly, I mean, I sort of joke about the man flu the other day, um, but I don't know what I suffer from more: the symptoms of the flu, and this is of course real blown flu with fever and chills and sore throat and achy achy body and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if I suffer more from the symptoms of the flu, or if I suffer from the the medication that I often take for the symptoms of the flu. Medication for me, if it says, if it says don't operate heavy machinery, I shouldn't even probably go near a toaster, or even even a my Keurig coffee pot. That might even be too heavy of machinery for me to even operate. So definitely, operating heavy machinery is going to be out. But even some of the stuff that says non-drowsy formula and stuff like that, that really does a number on me. And again, I don't know if it's the medication that I suffer from, if it's the symptoms of the flu. I think it's a combination of both, to be honest. But in any event, it does take me a little while to get over that. So our first winter break, our first mandatory winter break that we were off, um, essentially I was down for the count. I was sick in bed, and my wife and I, we had made plans. We had talked about different things that we thought we wanted to do during winter break, and some of it was some housework that we wanted to do, and some of it was going places and seeing some things. Well, pretty much all that was out the window at that point because my wife became, my nursemaid, and it's just us. It's just she and I. So that's the duty, until death do us part, through sickness and in health and all those kind of things, right? And so this is actually what led to my wife's sinus problems and everything. Was when I got sick. obviously you sleep with the dog, you get its fleas, right? That old saying. And so because she stayed with me and everything, she got sick. Well, then that led to a mother of a sinus infection that she got, and that led to down the road, the whole course of the way things went, that led to the discovery that her nose, her sinuses and everything needed to be opened up, that she had a deviated septum which needed to be fixed, and then that surgery just ran into lengthy more sinus infections and all that kind of stuff. And I've been sharing all that, but that really goes back to that winter break when I got sick that time, um, basically I guess 2 years ago, since this is the third one. But anyway, enough about all of that. Here we are on Thornton Farm. Again, this is episode number 18, so we're moving quite along nicely with our Thornton Farm series. We have here on our farm a weather forecast that I think favors everything that we have to do. Um, and I just got back a few minutes ago. I basically got up early this morning. The boys are taking care of the animals. Smithy is back to work, so Smithy is he's not 100%, but he's also not on his deathbed either. And so we really need all hands on deck. So we've got Smithy, we've got Thomas, and we've even still got Sid. So Mr. Thornton was okay with us keeping Sid on for the remainder of the harvest season, because I'll just stop here just a moment and go ahead and take an opportunity to grab a screenshot. Where is the sunrise? Kind of over there. Let's see if this looks all right for a thumbnail close-up of that limpkin cultivator. So Mr. Thornton is okay with everybody on deck here, because if we bring up our crop menu here, we can take a look and see that these fields, we basically got 5 fields left to harvest: 38, 34, 31, 30, 29. So let's see, I think if memory serves me, and let's not go with memory, let's actually go with actuals here. We've got soybeans up in the northern 2 fields, and then we've got sunflowers, and then we have corn. So obviously we'll be harvesting these with the corn headers, and then these obviously soybeans. We've already got our tractor and our header for the soybeans staged up in that field. We went ahead and took that up there this morning as well, because we are planning on very much so tomorrow morning hitting the harvest and getting all 5 of those fields done in the course of the next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. So today's kind of a light day on the farm. We do have the boys in working, but they're only going to work for a couple of hours today, and then we're going to basically send them home, because I guess technically this is Sunday, and so we want them to be with their families and all that kind of stuff. But we did have some things that we needed to do this morning on the farm, and since Smithy has been out for a couple of days, things have kind of fallen a little bit behind. Sid's a great hand, and he has really saved my bacon many times over the course of the last couple of days when Smithy was out sick. But Sid doesn't know all of the ways of the processes and procedures and everything that we do things. And so even though Sid was excellent at getting the hay stack, or the straw stacked in the barn, and helping get the wheat harvest in, all that kind of stuff, there was a lot of hand holding there, because again, this is not the kind of work that Sid typically does on a regular day-to-day basis. Now he's becoming old hat at this, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see just how much perhaps we can keep him employed over the next coming months and everything. Obviously, he will retain a part-time status here on the farm, because again, it has been one of those things where we've invested a little bit of time and effort to help him get trained, the information that he needs to be able to do things, and so that's a good thing. We certainly don't want to lose that, but he's going to go back to doing the things that he typically does around the Cotswolds, and then working for us kind of part-time through the winter. And then I'm pretty sure that Mr. Thornton wants to expand the fields out a little bit. He's got his eye on a couple of fields that, and sort of, we've talked about this over the course of the 17 or 18 episodes or so that we've been doing this farm. How that, we've got big farming, corporate farming that's trying to inch their way into the Cotswolds, and so basically, as some of these fields have come available, Mr. Thornton wants to basically grab them up so that he can kind of keep corporate farming out of the Cotswolds, or at least out of this immediate area. And then, of course, we will maintain those fields and plant those fields next spring, and basically get everything done that we need to get done to essentially bring those under our wing, if you will, and be able to farm those, because the buyers around this area, they really depend on the same amount of materials each fall to sort of run the bakeries and run the breweries and things like that. Obviously, with Mr. Thornton owning a pub, Mr. Thornton likes to sell some of his barley to the local brewery and everything, because that way he can sort of say, yep, he's keeping most all of his crops and everything here locally, and by way of either eating it through bread or drinking it through beer. Great combination, right? So anyway, and of course the greenhouses and all that kind of stuff, but the bakeries and the other industries around here that do rely on the crops that come off of all of the fields that make up this area need that. They need that to continue to do what they do to support the good citizens and the good people of this area. And of course, corporate farming comes in, and they essentially just use these fields, and quite honestly, they use and abuse these fields to crank out as much product as they possibly can, but it doesn't stay in this area. It all gets shipped. It all gets shipped elsewhere, and of course they often don't even utilize the local labor. A lot of times it's migrant workers and everything that come in, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not going to get on a soapbox either way regarding that particular subject, but we've got enough people around here in the Cotswolds, guys like Smithy and Thomas and Sid, and there's many others who basically need the opportunity to work, and they would much rather work here, because that's also another thing. I mean, Mr. Thomas is originally from here. He was born and raised in this area, and he has seen family size shrink from the way things used to be, where the kids basically would stick around and become farmers themselves or work in the local area. A lot of that has gone now, because again, corporate farming comes in, they bring in migrant workers, they bring in workers from elsewhere, and essentially suck out the jobs that are typically available for the younger people, the younger generations of people that are basically going to continue to carry the torch for local British farming and everything that stands for. And so this is hopefully one way that we're going to be able to continue to employ Sid, and maybe even others. We certainly want to continue to grow here, grow the operation. Of course, the greenhouse operation is that's a 365-day-a-year process now. When we first started with the greenhouses, it was very much sort of trial and error, if you will. We built 2 greenhouses, and we weren't sure if we could actually farm in the greenhouses 365 days a year. We need plenty of sunshine, which we don't often get here within England. within the UK. But we also need, warmer temperatures, and that is not a problem because again, if we can get the sunshine, we can heat the greenhouses up and everything and keep everything warm. And of course, we can artificially do some of that as well, and we certainly do that. But I will tell you that since we've put in all of the greenhouses that we have now, we're able to continue to produce local produce for the area to be able to supply the local farmers markets and also some of the area businesses and everything in fresh fruit and veg year round, and that is incredible. And so there's more technologies and everything that we can invest in that will continue to help that, but we need people to be able to do that work. So getting these fields cultivated, again, we spent a great deal of time last night, and that's one of the reasons why the boys have kind of a short work schedule just today. They're going to be back home in time for Sunday roasts and everything. But we did work well into the night and early morning getting these fields with liquid manure on them. And so basically once today is over, my plan for today is to essentially get both of these fields cultivated and perhaps get oilseed radish at least down on one of those fields. And most likely when we come back together in the next game day, it's going to be the next game day. It's going to be game day number 4 of early autumn. And like I said, the soybeans and the sunflowers and the corn will be ready to harvest. Those are ready today, and we could actually start on them today, but we did have a rain shower that came through last night, and again, we've got plenty of time, 2 days of good ample sunshine and everything. We shouldn't have a problem at all, but we're going to need more or less all hands on deck. But it does get crowded as well. We've only got one harvester, so obviously we can only harvest one field at a time, but we will be leveraging, if we don't get both of these fields wrapped up with oilseed radish, then what most likely we will do is we'll put Sid, probably have Sid driving the tractor and the seeder putting oilseed radish down on whatever field I don't get done today, and then Thomas and Smithy will assist in other tasks that are related to the harvest. And so it's all an integral working machine. We've got processes and we've got procedures which we follow, and we follow these for a reason, because they're successful. Not only have they been successful for Mr. Thornton throughout his time farming in this region, but they've also been quite successful for us as well. We did hear back from Billy Bob, and he is back in the USA. Thomas spoke to him, and he has he's glad to be back home. And of course, he's been quite busy there on his farm and everything. But it was a good stay for him, and so hopefully he'll come back and see us next summer. That's a pretty good time for him to be able to leave his farm, and it's a good time for him to come over here, because regardless of what he does on this side of the pond, if he is willing to work a couple of days here on the farm, it gives us an opportunity to let Smithy have some time off. And of course, hopefully next summer Sid will still be working with us as well, and that will also be a good time to let him have some time off as well, while Billy Bob and Thomas do some of the work on the farm along with me. And then of course, if they do sort of the same thing next year that they did this year, Thomas and Billy Bob go off and visit other family members and see some sights and everything, and then that leaves Sid and Smithy here to continue move the chains, just continue to make progress in everything that we've got to do. But it's all, it's all for this time. This is how farms work. Everything is more or less done for the stages that we're in right now with the harvest, for the fall, of course. And we're very thankful that we've got the land, that the land is bountiful, and we've got good hardworking individuals in Thomas and Smithy and Sid, of course, that don't mind working an honest day's work and earning a good living. All right, we'll wrap this field up here, and then I think I will start wrapping things up because it's going to be pretty close to 30 minutes, I think, by the time we get all this done, before I get all of my farewells and everything usually said. So I appreciate you all watching my videos. Please take an opportunity and check out the other YouTube content creators that I have linked down below this video. You'll find all of their channels to be as entertaining, if not even more entertaining than mine. The other theme that we all kind of have in common is the fact that we all produce family-friendly content. Let me get a drink of coffee here. Yeah, so we all produce family-friendly content. That is one thing that we all sort of pride ourselves in, because again, you can get on YouTube and you can talk like a sailor and everything, but you really are limiting a portion of your audience, especially the younger people, and that's not good. And what we're doing here with virtual farming and everything, we don't need to speak like a sailor, really. And so anyway, check those guys out. You'll find awesome entertainment. Awesome, different. Everybody kind of has a different way of doing things. Everybody kind of has a different flair to their channels, and it's good variety. And then also, don't forget to check out PCSG as well as the Three Dudes Gaming Network forums. PCSG, lots of mods, good, safe mods. No malware, no pop-ups, no slow download connections or anything like that. It's just good solid connection. You'll find some of the best Stevie maps over there on PCSG. Pretty much all of his mods are available on PCSG. And then of course Three Dudes Gaming Network, that's where you can interact with each of the Three Dudes members. So Eustace Farmer, Duck Zorley, Farmer Klein, and myself. So you can go over there and interact with us. And then pretty much check out my Discord server. If you want to ask a question or something, you can ask a question through Discord. I'm not always on with a headset and microphone, so just text me a message in the main channel or private message me. And then finally, last but not least, check out my website, grizzlybearsims.com. Again, that's grizzlybearsims.com. If there's ever a mod that you see in my videos, that mod is going to be listed on my mod spreadsheet. I made it a sort of a promise to myself that when I started Farm Sim 17, I said I wasn't going to go mod crazy. Well, I did sort of, that went out the window after the first couple of weeks. But the other promise that I made to myself to make to you was that any mod that I downloaded and that I actively use on my Let's Play series, there'll be a link to that mod in the mod spreadsheet. Now, of course, that is if the mod is available, and I very, very rarely play with mods which are not available to all. I'm a little bit against that, simply because you guys see things, you want to be able to use these on your virtual farm, and I sort of see myself as, sort of an advocate of the different things that you can do, and helping with any questions and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of why I do this. And so playing with mods that aren't available to you all, that's just kind of unfair. So, you know, sort of the exception to that is if something is going to be released to the public, and if I can get my hands on it early to help promote it, help show you all the new things that are coming, then obviously those will be a scenario from time to time that you'll have, or you'll see me play with mods. At the present time, Midtown USA is kind of in that situation where I haven't checked today, but it hasn't been released yet. And of course, I think I'm into like 7 or 8, 9 videos of that series, so it'll come, I'm sure. But definitely check out my mod spreadsheet. Everything you see there is in my videos and everything. I had a question a couple of days ago, and I'll go ahead and just take a few moments to answer that here. Somebody asked me if I use all of the mods that I have on my mod spreadsheet in all of my videos. And the answer to that question is obviously no. I sort of have, you know, I enjoy playing British style maps and I enjoy playing American style maps. And so basically I have equipment, I have mods that better fit with British style farming, and then I have mods that better fit with kind of American style modding. And then I have mods for like big farms, and I have mods for smaller, more quaint farms, kind of like this. And so when I set up a new map, when I decide to start a new series or whatever, I basically decide, okay, well, you know, what's the theme going to be? How am I going to work this? And then I will pick and choose what mods that I add. I should probably, and maybe I will try to get some time to do this, I should maybe add a column to my mod spreadsheet and just put in a column with each entry, with each mod, to say, you know, this mod is used on Thornton Farm, or this mod is used on Midtown USA, or whatever. But in any event, I try to keep things organized as well. I do need to clean up my mod spreadsheet again, because there's been a few mods that I know that I added to that spreadsheet that I no longer use because they've been replaced by maybe other mods or something like that. So I'll try to spend a little bit of housekeeping time and clean that up. But anyway, I'm a couple of minutes over now. See what happens when I get to talking here. So thank you all again so much for watching my episodes. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully this hasn't been too boring watching me cultivate a field. Cultivating is good stress release. It's almost like mowing. It's nice to see. It's visually pleasing to see the old crop, or the remnants of the old crop, kind of being cultivated into the field, and it's just a nice slow process, and it's one of the tasks that I enjoy doing on my virtual farms. But again, thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Take good care of yourselves and each other, and please come back again and see another episode here on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're not a subscriber of my channel, please click the subscribe button. I appreciate it. And also go ahead and give that like button a couple of, well, at least one tap to say that you like the video. I appreciate it. Thank you all so very much, and I'll speak to you down the road. Bye-bye.